Chairs. Chairs are made so that people can sit down and take a break. Anyone can sit on a chair, and if the chair is large enough, they can sit down together and tell jokes, or make up stories, or just listen. Chairs are for people, and that is why chairs are like Facebook. Doorbells, airplanes, bridges. These are things people use to get together, so they can open up and connect about ideas and music and other things that people share. Dance floors, basketball. A great nation. A great nation is something people build so they can have a place where they belong. The universe. It is vast and dark and makes us wonder if we are alone. So maybe the reason we make all of these things is to remind ourselves that we are not.
What is FriendFace? FriendFace is a great new site for meeting people. How does it work? FriendFace works along the same principle as a cold or a terrible plague. But it's not disgusting germs that FriendFace spreads, it's friendship. Each FriendFace page is like a petri dish filled with friendship germs. When you stick your face into the dish, you may come away with millions of other people attached to your face. That's right, it's basically a diseased face of friendship. Just sign up with FriendFace by giving us all of your personal information. And we'll provide a web page where you can meet new friends, catch up with old ones, and maybe find that special someone. Don't think about germs now. That analogy's over. Now it's just love and companionship and everything's fine. We own everything you put on FriendFace. It says so in the terms and agreements. But don't worry about that. We won't use it to do anything bad, we promise. Just think about love and companionship and everything's fine. FriendFace. FriendFace. FriendFace.
This is BlissVille, Misadventures in BlissVille. This is our Facebook episode. This is probably the 6th episode we've recorded in about 3 days, I think. We recorded 4 episodes with Colin, and then recorded one with Nina yesterday, and now I'm recording one today, and it is November 29th, 2014. According to the Wikipedia entry, Facebook, formerly known as The Facebook, is an online social networking service headquartered in Menlo Park, California. Facebook was founded on February 4th, 2004 by Mark Zuckerberg, with his college roommates and fellow Harvard University students Eduardo Savarino, Andrew McCollum, Dustin Moskovitz, and Chris Hughes. The founders had initially limited the website's membership to Harvard students, but it was later expanded to colleges in the Boston area, the Ivy League, and Stanford, and gradually added support for students at various other universities and later to high school students. Now, Facebook allows anyone who claims to be at least 13 years old. I don't know how you do that. Again, that's an internet thing. Are you over 13 years of age? Click enter. If not, leave. So it essentially started off as a college directory. Oh, and I should mention that I'm here with Bronwyn, and she's going to discuss this phenomenon with me. Facebook had over 1.3 billion active users as of June 2014. Holy bejesus. Due to the large volume of data collected about users, the service's privacy policies have faced scrutiny, among other criticisms. They just updated their privacy policy again. They keep sending me some kind of a thing on my feed. Facebook Incorporated held its initial public offering in February of 2012, began selling stock to the public 3 months later, reaching a peak market capitalization of $104 billion. I don't know where they're getting that figure either. If it's based on advertising, all advertising is a speculative thing. It's not really about the money that you get. It's about the money you think you're going to get, and that's how they pay. This is what has made, I guess, Zuckerberg and all of his partners in this whole affair extremely wealthy, because it's about theoretical money more than anything else. So I signed up for Facebook, and I believe it was September-ish of 2012-ish. Started accumulating friends, even minor acquaintances who happened to be on the Facebook. So when did you first sign up for Facebook?
After Regan was born, so 2007, 2008, something like that, and basically did it because I wanted a way to put up pictures of her that I could just share with everyone really quickly instead of putting them together in an email.
That seemed to be the original reason for Facebook. Well, at least for people that weren't members of these universities and then later schools or something, because it originally started as a bulletin board, sort of an internet bulletin board for them. But a lot of people got in on Facebook so they could share pictures of their families and stuff without actually having to visit or anything like that.
Well, it doesn't really replace a visit, but you can, I guess, more efficiently share pictures than emailing them, or maybe even emailing them like a link to Flickr or something. But I remember at the time that two things were big was MySpace and also Facebook.
Right,
but
MySpace.
I don't really hear anything about MySpace anymore.
Nobody talks about MySpace anymore. Did you ever get involved with MySpace?
I didn't, no, because I looked at other people's MySpace pages and it wasn't quite the same. It didn't look like it was a place where you could put up a bunch of pictures. It was basically just one page where you sort of described yourself and put up a picture is what it looked like. I could be wrong, but it just didn't have the same appeal that Facebook did at the time. And now I don't really hear too much about it. No.
As a matter of fact, there was like the public sale of MySpace had occurred, and everybody just kind of let out a collective who gives a whatever. MySpace was not as adaptable or user-friendly as Facebook, I suppose. But people did talk about it. I mean, it did get a lot of play in the news and stuff like that. But then Facebook just sort of like came and like stomped all over it like Godzilla. So you probably have way more Facebook friends than me. I have about, 63, 64. How many do you have? You've probably got over 100 or maybe even more.
I have, since I've had the page since about 2007, 2008, I have over 200. But that's really nothing because I see some of my friends who have over 1,000 friends.
Right. Yeah.
But it's not that it's a contest, but it is interesting.
A lot of the people.
How do you get that many friends? I don't know.
A lot of people I know will have 3,000, 4,000 friends.
Okay, there you go.
Maybe a lot of people who have a lot of contacts, especially people maybe in music. A lot of the musicians I know, they have a lot of them, and it's very big for them because it's a way to get their message out if they have a message. Facebook nowadays, not so much for just showing pictures of the grandkids or showing pictures of the vacation or the honeymoon, which seems to be a big thing, but it's also about these people in music and entertainment and their followers, and I'm using big gigantic quotes right there when I say that, and they got like 3,000, 4,000 people on their lists, just and they're feeding them updates all the time.
Yeah, that's a different use of it than personal friendly use.
What kind of people do you have on your site?
What kind of
friends
do I have?
Yeah. What kind of friends are they? What?
I think it seems like the way this worked for me is that it sort of circled backwards. Like when you first create your Facebook page, it takes all the contacts that you have in your whatever email address you use. So everybody that I had been immediately in contact with, like the 5 or 6 people that I emailed with all the time, were the first set of friends that I had. And then from there, a bunch of people that I went to New Actors Workshop with. And then that circled out to a bunch of people I went to college with, and then a bunch of people I went to high school with, then junior high, till finally, I'm actually friends with a bunch of people that I even haven't seen since elementary school. And that one just kills me because I think without Facebook, there's no way I would ever have found these people or known what they were up to or anything. And then, of course, now there's people that are from much closer times, like people that I have worked with in various jobs in New York City.
Is there anybody that's a complete stranger to you that's a friend to you on your Facebook page? Like someone you've never known or met except through Facebook?
Sort of. There's a friend of mine named Tony Steele and his wife Kay. I have never met them face to face, but they are very good friends with my friend Scott Frank. Are we allowed to say proper names?
You can say
anyway.
If you want, as long as you're not gonna, say something. Somebody told me you can talk about whatever you want, just don't try to badmouth anybody.
Oh, okay. No. Scott Frank, who basically made a sort of a digital introduction and suggested that I become friends with these two because they're artists, and he thought I would like to talk to them. So I've never met them in person.
But you knew of them.
I knew of them.
They're sort of like a blind date. They're a friend-in-law.
Or
something like that. All right. Now the two things, I wrote here originally that Facebook is ubiquitous with the internet, but there is another thing. There's two things, and I'm looking at one right now. One is the Wikipedia. So to me, I'm sure there are other options out there, but if Facebook and Wikipedia suddenly vanished tonight, there would be like chaos. There would be pandemonium because we kind of need those things now. We've become incredibly dependent on them to stay in contact and to get information. We don't go to the library anymore. Not when we were kids. You know, when we were kids, we had to go to the library to do a report. Remember? You don't even have to do that anymore.
Yeah, so the challenge would be to, if you're a kid now, to write a report and not just take sentences from the Wikipedia, because everyone's going to know.
Just rewrite them. That's all you have to do.
I don't know. Yeah, Facebook suddenly disappeared. You would suddenly have to get in touch with people in old-fashioned ways, and you'd
phone calls and letters, using your fingers to write letters.
But even email, like I find that when I was just using email to be in touch with people, that it was a better quality of being in touch. Like I was more deeply in touch with a smaller amount of people.
Why? Because you actually took an effort to contact someone in particular.
Exactly. And you write them, even though it's email and it's digital and instant and all that, you're taking the time to write them a note or a letter that's addressed to them specifically. With Facebook, you can kind of do that if you're doing private messaging, but it's not really the same.
So now, when we started really actively getting involved in the internet, this was about 3 or 4 years. No, it was probably about 7 years before Facebook even launched, because Facebook launched in February of 2004. So we started with websites. I mean, we put together these really graphics-heavy websites. I remember Scott put together our first websites. And they were just like, and a couple of them are still up, even now. I can actually go to, our first production company was called Damn Productions, and we had a website with Tripod. Tripod was I guess a web host at the time. It was free. So it ran all these crazy ads and pop-ups every time you went there and clicked on anything. We put together the Damn Productions website as a reminder to all the tech heads, because that's what they were back then. Now everyone is using a computer. That we existed as a filmmaking concern for a newer, brighter, bolder generation. I guess Generation X.
So if you had a film company up and running, you'd have a Facebook page that you would create for your business.
Right, exactly. You don't even need a website anymore. You really don't need a website anymore. I found, because I did have a website promoting myself, my writing and my photography and my filmmaking, davidlawler.net. I don't even think it's out there anymore. It was junked. I junked it because I didn't like the hosting service. They kept trying to bill me, and I kept trying to cancel, and they finally relented and did it. Now everyone is using a Facebook page or a group. Now the Facebook groups are fantastic. I'm only a member of 2 of them so far, and you're a member of them too. You're a member-in-law, as it were. We're fans of the television show Friday the 13th, the series, which ran for 3 years, from 87 to 90, back in a long time ago, of course. And there are actually more than a few Facebook groups that are devoted followers of the show. So we go there, we have conversations, we talk about episodes or something like that. It could be anything obscure, like I'm sure, I don't know, but my friend Mark Jacoma is a fan of an old show that really didn't make it, called Whiz Kids, and I'm sure he could put together a Facebook group for people who love that show. It only ran for like
there's something out there for everyone.
And people are going to love it, and you'd get a lot of members, and they'd be like, yes, I remember that, because a lot of this is nostalgia. We're reaching into the future with Facebook to go back to reclaim our old nostalgia.
Elements of the past and future combining to create something not quite as good as either.
Yes, exactly.
Sorry. Anyway,
that was a Mighty Boosh reference. I hope our friends out there in internet land got that one. Now, this is actually a brilliant and simple concept. Now, I wrote here in my notes that I would love to see the first Facebook page ever made. What was it? What did it look like? It was 2004. So I wanted to try and pull up a screenshot, and I have the actual address here. Hopefully, if I can get all this adware out of the way.
I just remember when I first got Facebook, the layout was different, and it was slightly easier to use. Not that it's difficult to use, obviously. It's supposed to be dummy proof, but whenever they change around the layout, you're like, what have they done to it this time? You've been on it less of a shorter time than I have. Have you noticed a lot of layout changes? It seems like I feel like I've been through a few layout changes.
No, actually, I haven't actually noticed. It still looks the same as when I started, which was only 2 years ago, really.
Yeah.
See, now this is what it looked like. It said, "Welcome to the Facebook," in brackets, in lowercase. The Facebook is an online directory that connects people through social networks at colleges. This was how they put it together for students at Harvard. And then...
Okay.
Where,
that is...
okay, there's another shot here. Now, there's what you have here, I guess, are... I'm not really sure what this is supposed to be, but you get a group description. And then your officers, whoever the heck those people are. And then discussion. I guess there's a comment board here on the side where you're just sort of having discussions with people. And then there's something called Rate My Professors. And there's a picture of the camp. I'm not sure if that's a campus. That's not the campus. But there's a nice little picture. But you notice, I mean, it has the same thing. Now this is your regular page, and it does look different. All your activity is on the left side of the page as opposed to the right side. Your discussion, your activity, I forget the name of that little globe there that tells you everything that's going on. And then your newsfeed, messages, events, and photos. It doesn't look all that different from now, except I think some of it is moved over to another side. Maybe they made it more visually presentable.
Well, they made it look a little bit more like the kind of web pages that you can put together now pretty easily with WordPress or Drupal, with this kind of the background banner image.
What is?
They made it look closer to that.
Can you explain Drupal to me? Because you mentioned that before, and I have no idea what that is. It sounds like a disease you get from eating too many turnips.
No, I just know.
I'm sorry, Doc. I can't come in today. I have Drupal.
The web page we have at work is put together using Drupal, so I'm familiar with how it works. But it's similar to, you just put together a website with WordPress, and I've heard that they're very, very similar. They're just two standard programs you can use to put together blogs and websites, and it's in that kind of blog format.
Do you have to pay for that? That's a premium service?
No. It's
free? All right, I gotta look into that. So you get this profile here on this profile page, and it gives you your information, how long you've been a member, sex, concentration of studies, computing sciences, mathematics, whatever this says here. And your phone number, apparently. I'm going to put my phone number up there and give this guy a call and everything. This guy, I hope he changed it. He's looking for friendship. He's dating. He's in a relationship.
It's a standard.
He's interested in women. His relationship
page.
status is single, and his political views are liberal. And his interests are drinking, football, basketball, tennis. So, here's Mark Zuckerberg's profile. He's the guy who started this whole thing. But from what I understand, other people were involved in the development of Facebook, because when something comes along that's huge and makes billions of dollars or something, there's going to be a few, I guess pissed off people who were around at the time of its creation will insist that they were responsible for some of it. And I think their names, according to this, what I just read, Tyler and his brother Cameron Winklevoss. Now, tell me that doesn't sound like some snooty Harvard. It's, Mark, look, it's the Winklevosses. Don't look at them when they come in the room. Pretend you don't know them. Anyway, and this is interesting because they're showing a marathon of Law & Order Criminal Intent right now on the Ion channel. And the very last episode that was produced for Law & Order Criminal Intent, it was a Vincent D'Onofrio and Catherine Erb episode. And it was called Boy in the Blue Knit Cap. Anyway, it's based loosely on the whole Facebook lawsuit. Of course, it culminates in a murder. It starts with a murder, because every Law & Order episode seems to start with a murder.
Right, that would be the point.
And then, Vincent D'Onofrio gets all weird with people, and he starts, freaking them out, and they pretty much just confess to get away from him. That's the standard Law & Order Criminal Intent episode.
So this one was about Facebook, the last one they did?
Well, they changed the names to protect the innocent, but it's all written down here in the Wikipedia. But they call, instead of Tyler and Cameron Winklevoss, it's somebody else, I believe. It's the Parker and Thomas Gaffney, and they had started a popular dating website called Kismate. That's cute, Kismate. Hey. How about that?
That is cute.
Kismate.
Kismate, I get
instead
it.
of Kismet. Get it, Kismet. Instead it's Kismate. So, sometimes it's great to catch up with old friends. I was out of the loop for maybe 20 years, so I'm not sure. After 1994, I had a new collection of friends. We move on from one group of friends to the next, and these were my late teen to mid-20s years, I suppose, and I moved on. I started getting different jobs, meeting new people. So I left my childhood friends behind. So when I sign up for the Facebook, I hook up with all my old childhood friends. So it feels like either no time has passed or I've slept like Rip Van Winkle through a war, an important sequence of events, marriages, and births, old girlfriends, getting married, having children, getting divorced. This is what happens when you don't stay in contact with people, but then there's so much to learn about them, about what they've been up to. It's like getting a new friend.
Yeah, I mean, someone you hadn't seen since elementary school is going to be almost a completely different person.
Now, you talked about you hooked up with a lot of elementary school kids, right?
Yeah,
playing on the playground, right? And then you found out, oh yeah, I've been married, and then I got divorced, and then I got married, and then I got divorced, and they might have been through 3 or 4 husbands or wives and had like 17 children by this point.
17 divorces. No, but a lot of them, I sort of see their pictures, and I don't think I would recognize them if I saw them on the street. They just look way too different. Or some of them, they've had a lot. They don't even put pictures of themselves. They just put their kids. So I still wouldn't recognize them because
I noticed that too. There's a lot of people I know who actually don't put pictures of themselves. They just put pictures of their kids.
Yeah, their thumbnail is their adorable 2-year-old.
Maybe they're too self-conscious.
Why not? I guess. Yeah. Maybe.
Now, you said that you had some friends and they look completely different and you'd never be able to recognize them.
No, maybe not.
But have you had some friends who have like creepily not aged at all? Like, have you had like a friend who still retains that baby face and you're like, oh my God, it's like I'm 9 again. I'm looking at this person.
There's some people I would definitely recognize very easily. Some elementary school, maybe more so true with girls. Some of them don't change that much, and you're like, wow, I would still know exactly who you are, and your kid looks exactly like you too. There's one girl who looks, I remember very well from my elementary school, and I remember her mom. Her mom was a very prominent figure at the private elementary school that I went to, and now this girl has grown up to look exactly like her mom. It's exactly eerie.
Now, that would be kind of an interesting topic in that, does she get along with her mother, or did she, or was she a person who never wanted to be her mother when she grew up and then winds up looking exactly like her?
That would be psychologically interesting to know, but I got the feeling that she and her mom got along and were close.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
So Facebook seems to work for the chronically shy, and I still have friends who refuse to post pictures of themselves. It also perpetuates the whole passive-aggressive movement wherein a user will post a piece of interesting or weird news, and they'll post famous phrases, religious ideologies, we get that a lot, and things that generally piss them off. In a weird way, you get to know nearly everything you know about a person from what they post to social media, and it becomes public intimacy.
You think so? Not really. I mean, I don't... A lot of most things that I see people post is a lot of those memes, where it's like a cute picture with a funny phrase. Some of them are funny,
like a cat with a bad hairdo or something, looking pissed off at the camera, and then it says something like "I hate Mondays" or whatever. Garfield.
Yeah, well, something like that. Yeah, you see a lot, and that doesn't tell you anything about the person other than.
Well, it kind of might. I mean, like it is sort of an idea. The meme is the new ideology in a lot of ways. If you're not religious, if you're not sending Bible verses or talking about, God can save you, and if He doesn't or something, I don't know. You have to buy him a cheeseburger or whatever it is. You sort of, I get a real indication. I mean, if you know where to look, if you know how to look at a certain post, you can pretty much figure out their mindset, what's on their mind. They're upset or they're happy. Usually they're very upset on Mondays, very happy on Fridays because they work, they have Monday through Friday.
Or you find out that they don't really like cats. That's the main thing. I found out a lot about my friends.
A lot of people, they don't like cats?
No, they like cats.
Oh, they like cats.
I have a lot of friends who really like cats.
Okay, yes.
I got that impression. I know a lot of people
the internet
like cats.
serves as a tool for anything, it's like a public relations device for cats.
Yeah.
So as publicly intimate as Facebook can be, there's still the unpleasant indirect method of confrontation that has become prevalent on the internet. We go to the sites, we read the news pieces many times. They're shared on Facebook, shared on your timeline or a friend's timeline, and we comment on those news items. Somebody comments on your comments, and they either agree with you 100% and you're on top of the world, because it's nice to be agreed with, or they disagree and you feel humbled and humiliated, depending on who is making the comment. This has happened to me so many times, we only have a limited amount of time recording this.
See, I always used to hear this old saying when I was a kid. I don't know, I guess it's not really true anymore, but that there's two topics that you're not supposed to bring up, and one is politics and the other one is religion. So I guess these things don't exist anymore. These aren't things that people worry about. Because of that very reason, it's going to stir up controversy. People are going to be annoyed with you, or maybe they'll agree with you, or they just don't want to hear it, something like that.
But I believe in debate. And nothing inspires and provokes fierce debate more than religion and politics. I tend not to... I don't talk about religion. I'm an atheist. A lot of people know this. But I also believe that atheists should kind of shut the hell up too. I believe that both parties should, because I don't want to be witnessed to, and I don't want to hear about how wonderful Jesus is and all that stuff. But the thing is, I'm not going to tell people that, because they're entitled to their belief. They can believe whatever they want. And I view atheism as a belief. But I don't go out there and say, I don't believe in God, no. But a lot of other people believe in what they believe, and they kind of, flaunt it in front of other people. But as for politics is, as far as I'm concerned, it's a meat market. You can get in there and just grab and say whatever you want to do. And I've been unfriended twice on Facebook. That's when somebody decides they've had enough of you. This comes from disagreement. If the internet is an unfiltered stream of uninformed opinion, then Facebook instills a certain sense of entitlement in its users that provides an invisible shield of protection around its users and their statements and observations.
So why do you think that you've been unfriended twice? Because I've never been unfriended once so far, knock on wood.
Well, I think that you're probably a lot more pleasant person than I am. You're a rather nice person, I guess, and you're polite and you keep your mouth shut, I guess. I'm not sure. On the attractive scale, you're probably a lot more attractive than I am. People kind of gravitate to you, and then they cling to you and tell you things. You just have, an open face. People just want to talk to you. So you're just your attitude is more like, yeah, that's nice, yeah. And you just sort of politely nod your head.
No. See, what you're not saying is that you said earlier you like to engage people in debate, and you're not afraid to do it, but you're running under the assumption that people want to be engaged in debate. It doesn't have anything to do with how nice I am. I'm not even sure I'm all that nice.
I would love to be engaged in debate myself.
You would love to be engaged in debate. Not everyone would love to be engaged in debate.
I'd like for somebody to change my mind if they could. I mean, I talk to people. I have when I did the interview with Nina, I had some firm ideas about things, and I don't know, for some reason she's always gotten me to see her point of view, because she's informed. If you have an informed opinion, my God, I am there for you. I will listen. I will back you up. So she engaged
you in debate?
Not really a debate per se. She just gave me her point of view. It's not like we were arguing back and forth. It was a very pleasant conversation I had with her, but she made her points, and she made them in a sound, convincing, intellectual manner. And I think if you do that, I'll be your pal. I'll be your buddy. But if you're like, no, I don't believe what you just said because meh, and then they turn their back and put their hands to their ears and they go, la, 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 I can't hear you. So
that's the equivalent of unfriending someone, is putting their fingers in their ears and going, la, 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 I can't hear you.
Pretty much, I guess. Or unless somebody did something really horrible, like if you were friends with somebody and you accidentally ran over their poodle, I could see you being unfriended for that. But I was usually unfriended by people who have truly whacked out sensibilities or ideas, or maybe this is just me saying this, of course. Or they don't want to be shown up, or like a computer giving contradictory or perhaps insufficient information. The first time, I think, was a person who just didn't want to hear it. He would make a statement and I would disagree. One time this person insinuated that the 2013 New York Mets would be better off without Eric Young. I disagreed, and I believe I was right to disagree. If you don't know, Young, like Jacob deGrom and Zach Wheeler, have been enormously positive for the team. They're like a breath of fresh air. They made some it was a really good contribution to the team. I was right about that. Another time, this person took issue with my remarks regarding the Spike Jonze movie, Her. Everyone was talking about this movie like it was the greatest freaking thing. I think it even got nominated for an Oscar. I'm not even sure yet. I said it looked like a rip-off an old Twilight Zone episode. He took issue, and it went on like that until he had just about enough of me.
So you think he unfriended you over those two not actually very personal things at all?
These are not. No, these were not. These were just opinions.
Right.
He said a few other things that I kind of took issue with, but I'm sort of a live and let live. I'll be like, I disagree with you, but that's okay. But I think this person was a younger person than me, obviously, and I think when you are a certain age, I'm going to say maybe when you start to really care, maybe between 20 and 30. you really do believe that everything you say is absolutely correct, and you're not really open to any other interpretation. And I think things change when you start families, when you have children. I think that definitely a lot of things change. But with that particular incident of being unfriended, I really wasn't all that upset. I was kind of more amused than anything that somebody would be that upset that they would want to unfriend me. And I think that the funnier part is that not only did he unfriend me, he started up a new account, changed his name or something slightly. He made like a deviation in his name and kind of had a new Facebook page put together.
Was it called I Hate Dave
No.
on Facebook?
No, it was just a page that was a variation on his name.
Oh, okay, I'm just kidding.
Now, the other time came about most recently. This had to have been about, how long ago was this? A month and a half. Came about as a result of Breaking Bad action figures being sold at the Toys R Us. And that they would be a bad influence on children, turn them into meth heads or God knows what else. Now, this person isn't a parent, but she insisted on signing a petition to have the figures removed from shelves. And I took issue. I disagreed. I tend not to believe that action figures or any such external stimuli have any influence on children. I think, if anything, adults cause more problems than children. And I believe that she inferred I was a terrible, horrible parent for believing that, and she kind of unfriended me based on it. I mean, it's just totally cut me off completely. It's like, but the thing is, I've had arguments with this person before in the past. We've argued about Obama. We've argued about, she has very strange liberal views when it comes to politics and very extremely conservative views when it comes to law enforcement. And I disagreed with her in that regard because I made no secret of it. I don't think Obama is the reincarnation of Jesus, and that doesn't really work either because Jesus was a Jew. He wasn't a Hindu. Anyway.
What? So once again, these things weren't actually personal, but you were unfriended anyway.
I figure if you're going, I figure at least I should be heard because I am a parent. And when you cut off a parent, you're closing off an entire channel of communication. And if you're doing this, it's because you do not want anyone to disagree with you at all. And you can become completely offended at the idea of being disagreed with. And this is really funny because a couple of days after this happened, I was watching something. I think it was Kennedy, and I think they were talking about how your liberal friends are more likely to unfriend you on Facebook than anybody else.
Oh. On Kennedy, you mean on...
the Fox show, I think, The Independents.
The Independents.
It's a libertarian show. But they were saying that liberals cannot seem to grasp the idea that other people have different points of view, so they will unfriend you. And politics is often the cause of broken friendships, which is kind of strange to me because friendship is a passionate thing. Politics is it's just numbers and statistics. It's the media. It's these people up there in the suits that are trying to control your lives. That to me is politics. So I think if you're going to break up a friendship, it should be over something a little more fundamental, like, wow, this person isn't nice to me, or something like that.
Well, some people feel passionate about politics. They have very strong beliefs, and they think that it says something about the very core of their being, their beliefs. The possibility is that if you don't agree with them, they think that you're saying something about them.
Well, you got into a bit of a row with her over this too, because she's a friend of yours.
I'm just saying, some people are going to take things personally, and they're going to unfriend you on Facebook. Not just you; they're going to unfriend
I wonder how many. I mean, it's, of course, with me, it's happened twice. So I don't think this is going to stop. I think people are going to unfriend me.
Because, of course, you're not going to stop engaging anyone in debate.
So I wrote 2 little rules here. I wrote 2 little rules that people should be aware of. I would not recommend Facebook for the truly sensitive. And do not engage in banter with your Facebook friends if you expect lively debate and conversation. Now, I looked on my Facebook page today, as I do every day, and I see my friend Eve, who's actually going to be a guest on the show at some point. She posted a message, and it read simply, FB, as in Facebook, is so creepy. Now, I know why she's... I can figure out why she's writing this, because it has to do with the fact that you see all these advertisements on your side panel, and they pop up in posts on your timeline. I was looking at sofas last week online, Jennifer Convertibles, and now I get posts for sofas flooding my timeline.
Yeah, it is creepy.
I don't recall ever signing anything that said my personal shopping habits were being monitored.
But everything does that. If you look at your Amazon page, it'll suggest items that you probably didn't even look at on your Amazon page. Every every place you shop, every place you go, it's spying on
But
you,
you're talking
so
about
to
things
speak.
I've looked at on Amazon. Amazon is a shopping site. They have every right to, but hey, if you like this pair of headphones, you'll love these. These are a lot cheaper, and they're probably as good. I'd like that. That's fine. You know why? Because Amazon is for shopping. Facebook is not. Facebook is not for shopping, and this is where I think they get a lot of their money. You know, we're talking about that $104 billion, and I think a lot of that comes from the fact that they kind of try and steer you towards shopping for things, and this is how they make their theoretical advertising dollars.
Well, they have to make money somewhere. Obviously, all these people are signed up for free, and they're posting pictures, and they're talking to each other.
Yeah, you have to wonder
for
how
free,
they make their money exactly.
Obviously, how they're making money is
They have to pay their designers, the developers, and all that stuff. But you do have to wonder how the money can be coming in, like practically through the front door in an enormous sack, for these people to be able to make money off of it. There are other terrible things that can occur via Facebook. I had read there is definitely kind of a counterculture thing, because I remember hearing about a guy who murdered his wife in their kitchen and then posted photos of her dead body on a Facebook page. I thought that was really amazing, number one. And number two,
I assume those were reported as inappropriate and taken down at some point.
yes, actually, it's funny in a very sad, disturbing way. But there were friends of this person who was murdered, and they posted comments. How could you? You son of a bitch! You're gonna rot in hell, you murderer! I mean, it's like Facebook to the extreme. You kill somebody, take a picture of them, and put it on Facebook, and then their friends come out and
that seems kind of fantastic. Like, I can't actually believe
happened
that
in Florida about 2 years ago, I believe, and it was taken down. But there are places you can go, as you can go anywhere online, and you can find those pictures. I'm not going to mention the names, but that is what happened. But this is sort of how we have changed amid the Facebook and internet revolution, is that now we can post comments about two people who have killed our friends, and we can unfriend them too. Now there is a good way and a reason to unfriend people. That's it. This guy should be looking on his page, and suddenly he has no friends. And then he has to go back and say, oh, wait a minute, what did I do to piss these people off? Oh. So, but very little, despite that, comes in the way of bad behavior comes via Facebook. It's really an incredible place. And this isn't a commercial. I'm not being paid, at least not in money. I get paid in disposable razors. Join the Razor a Month Club, $1 a month, and you'll get lots and lots of razor blades. I don't know if you've noticed those. Those ads pop up a lot on Facebook. And with that, I want to thank you for listening. And I've been talking here with a Bronwyn Knox, or Canucks, as I like to call her. She had not taken my married name, except on her Facebook page. So, when we get our RSS feed, hopefully we'll have it by then, please subscribe to this podcast, and remember, God is bless.